Hey friends, welcome to Mouth-to-Wall Talks with Nita Friendly. I'm Diondre and I'm here with RJ.
Hey.
And if you guys are new here, we are a podcast that talks about the journey of life and how to navigate it. So we are actually in a course right now with Dr. Laurie Santos.
Correct.
So shout out to her.
Amazing.
And we're going to continue our discussion on happiness. And I think we kind of never really introduced ourselves as much in our intros.
Yeah.
So RJ, why don't you go ahead and tell the people more about yourself?
Okay, so my name's RJ, obviously, like we said it 3 times. So I am a 29-year-old living in South Florida. I'm Latino. I was born in America, and right now I'm currently working I would say normal 9-to-5 job. Let's see, I went to college. I graduated with a bachelor's in psychology. And currently, I'm on life's journey, just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
How about yourself, D?
Oh, man, we might need like 10 minutes. Again, my name is Diondre. I'm 28. I am from Haitian descent and a little bit of Bahamian. Well, not a little bit, but on my mother's side.
A lot of bit?
Yeah, a lot of bit. I am a huge science lover. I love talking about science, writing about science. I work a 9-to-5 as well, unfortunately, but I too am navigating my life as a father, hard worker in a very demanding career and trying to be the best family man that I can. So I hope you guys can be on the journey with me. So,
all right, let's give them some interest or hobbies.
Interests or
give
hobbies?
Us 3.
I like to play basketball, kind
Nice.
of basic. Number 2, I said it before, I like to talk about science, which I like to make videos. I have tutoring videos. I write blog posts. I think about it every second.
He does it all.
Before we even started recording, we had a whole discussion about some things. So it
About
takes
killer whales.
Yeah, it takes long for us to kind of set up because Camila in the back, she always asks me science questions.
Shout out Camila, our camera woman.
So basic hobby, the basketball, not too interesting. Everyone plays that.
No, that's a hobby. That's an interest.
Yeah, but people are like, okay, like, when you meet people, like, what are your hobbies?
Okay, like unique. What's your uniqueness? Unique hobbies. Science is a big one. Not everybody likes science.
Yeah, and I think a blog. Who has like a science blog
Yeah.
where they like write stuff? I think that's pretty unique. Not that many
Nerd.
people. Yeah, which is fine. I think that's unique.
Subscribe to his blog, because I did, and it is amazing.
Oh, and I'm a professional Monopoly player on PS5. Yeah, I'm the best Monopoly player and a great negotiator. I can
Nice.
negotiate anything.
Damn, so are those your 3? Are you sticking to those?
Those are my 3.
All right, bet. I think for me, I enjoy a unique hobby. I've really gotten into, trying to learn how to DJ and enjoy more so like about music. I just like Diondre likes to nerd out about science. I like to nerd out about psychology. So I like stuff that has to do with like, anything about learning how to more so about the self-help approach. I don't want to really learn about crazies or like schizos or anything.
Yeah.
But really like the human mind and more so philosophy, if anything. So like music, psychology / philosophy, and one more. I want to say the gym, the same way how you said basketball. And
Yeah,
it's
there's like one basic one, like everyone.
So
but
the gym is a good one,
The self-help is very interesting in the philosophy. No Sigmund Freud or anything like that.
I mean,
like what type of philosophy? Like,
I guess searching for the reason as to like why we're all here.
RJ, we could talk off camera about that.
Yeah, I think in a more sense, like it's about why we're here, and even if you don't know why you're here, then like what are we doing here and how to make it better. So that's the one thing.
And that's the tough part, already not knowing why we're here can make a lot of people go crazy.
Me.
And a lot of people want to search for purpose in their life. It can really make you go crazy, but we should talk about this after.
Okay,
I can
for
say
sure.
Yeah, I can nerd out. So you could talk about your philosophy, self-help. I'll throw a little bit of science, even though it's like not fully.
I mean, they go hand in hand. So it feels like with our podcast, like, we go through life. Life has philosophy, life has science, life has so many more things into that. But it's kind of like we're just a couple of guys like late 20s trying to figure it out. And we've been doing this course, like Dee brought up earlier, COURSERA, and that's been really helping us learn about how to find happiness. Because this journey it kind of feels like happiness is always just a little grasp away.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a roller coaster. I think, last time we spoke about certain things that make you happy, or you think that would make you happy.
Miswanting. Yeah.
And you realize, man, this really doesn't make me happy, especially with things that you feel are valuable. And, a year later, it's like, right? I think we talked about my car. Like, you're just like, do you get into that car every time and smile? No, I don't. Maybe the first day when I got into the car, drove off the lot, but now it's kind of like, I'm in the Dodge. I'm still happy.
Just a little
come
bit.
back to me in 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't really speak on that. Never mind.
So with I think our last episode, we were going in more in depth of like annoying features that we all have. Because like you're going to go living your life. And what we learned from this course on happiness, it's called The Science of Well-Being. So again, shout out Professor Santos from Yale. But the 4 annoying features that we kind of all have that we don't really realize it's in our life or in our minds. The first one is like, okay, you're gonna, kind of like we talked about miswanting. Sometimes you use your judgment and it's not always right, because you're gonna look at something and be like, oh man, I really want to buy this expensive thing. Meanwhile, in the back of your mind, you're probably like, I shouldn't do that because I'm gonna be broke after.
Exactly.
It'll bring you happiness, yes. It'll bring you joy for a little bit, yes. But using your judgment, just like, first off, like judgment, what you see, surface level. It's kind of like green flags and red flags. You see the red flag, your judgment is like, it looks entertaining. I'm going to slide in real quick. You know what I mean?
Right.
With the second feature, I think that was our social reference points. So like if I'm looking at you right now and like you and me both went to the same college, we both graduated, you're a good reference point for where I should be in life. If I'm going to sit here and look at a Yale student or like a Harvard student and be like, wow, I should be making just as much money as them and I should be just like them. And it's like, come on, bro.
Yeah, it should almost be very realistic, right? So maybe, like I said, I guess my reference point can be, my father, or maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is way, way there.
Those are good reference points to have.
But is it realistic, at least for someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson? Maybe I go for someone that is more local, maybe?
Around I would say like in your bracket, because you have to stay local. You want to stay not small, but like somewhere that's in your like same playing field, Right. You don't want to put like, I'm not into sports, but I like sports analogies. You can't have like a varsity player, playing with somebody who's like in Little League, like that's just unfair. Yeah. But they both like the sport. They both like basketball, baseball, whatever it is. But whenever you're going to compare yourself, make sure that you're comparing yourself to people who are in your bracket. It's good to look up to those people who are above you, but at the same time, like, don't feel bad if you're not there.
Yeah, and it's not saying that you can't reach that level, right? It's just, again, kind of, being realistic, and 2, how can I say it? Like, again, like I said, Neil deGrasse Tyson, I don't want to feel bad if I never reach his level. So that's why you have to kind of have someone on your same playing field. So, something that is achievable, something that's not too far-fetched. Again, not saying you can't, but, be a little bit, realistic. Even with myself, like at one point I loved playing basketball, right?
Okay.
So I did have reference points there. I never had LeBron as a reference point. I knew I wasn't going to make it.
You had your team players, right?
Yeah, like there was someone, I don't want to name drop on here, but there was somebody that, you kind of reference point, okay, I want to not be like him, but I look at him and I say I want to reach that level. And did I? Kind of. But I didn't really feel too bad because I wasn't choosing LeBron as that reference point.
Yeah.
I was choosing someone that was, playing somewhere else.
Okay.
And I can genuinely say I was happy. I played middle school basketball. I played, I got into JV, first game, got knocked out.
Oof.
I have a scar on my nose.
Damn.
And then I went to varsity,
Mm-hmm.
and then I stopped there. I didn't go into college or anything. That satisfied me because
Yeah.
I had that reference point to where I wanted to be, and it was nothing more than that.
And you could have gone into college still thinking like, oh man, why didn't I go into college basketball like my other teammates, or why didn't I go to the league like my other teammates? And then at that
Yep.
point it's kind of like, well, if your reference points are those people or at that caliber, then you should maybe work for it. Or at the same time, maybe you're just over I don't want to say like extending that like ideology of, oh, I want to go and play ball for the rest of my life. But it's kind of like, hey, like you did what you did, you showed up, you did it, you did it in high school, you got pretty far. If that's something you don't want to keep doing, then let it go. Don't feel bad. Like, some people harp on that and make themselves
Exactly.
feel worse.
And even for those that were deep into it, maybe they don't make the league, right? But
Yeah.
you can play overseas,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes you have to kind of be grateful for these things. Okay, I didn't make it to the league, but I'm playing overseas doing what I love. Again, it's really just kind of setting that expectation for yourself, having a good reference point, and not harping down and, bogging yourself down about not having that unrealistic reference point, not, making it to like the NBA or something.
Not balling out of control like LeBron right now. You could have been Bronny, Diondre. Yeah. What happened
Bronny?
there? You could have been like Bronny.
Hey, that's a separate topic, but my dad wasn't in the league. My dad only gave me a position at GFS, Gordon Food Service. I didn't get the luxury of, hey, my dad plays in the league. He could bring me in.
What do you
my
mean?
dad,
Bronny worked for it so hard.
during college, he's like, I could bring you to GFS and work in the warehouse or something.
Nice.
So I didn't have that luxury.
Hey, it's something. So we got like the first one, which is like our judgment or our first intuition like isn't always right. Our second annoying feature that we have is our reference points aren't always amazing. Sometimes they can be like very like misconstrued. And then 3 and 4 are pretty similar. Like those are the ones where like you feel like you get used to stuff. But then that's number 3 is like your brain gets used to stuff. But then number 4 is like you don't realize you get used to stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's a part of human nature, right? You just kind of get used to things, and that's why I guess that's why you always want to try new things, new experiences,
Yeah.
right? Because you get used to things. That's kind of I think it kind of ties in even to the first points that you made. Like, I got used to the car.
Yeah.
I get used to making this amount of money. I get used to this job. And there's someone out there salivating over what you have.
They want that.
They want
Challenger.
that. Right.
They want the whip. They want to go. Where was it? GF.
GFS.
They want
Hey,
GFS.
that's a good company, yeah. But that's why you should always be wanting to. There's a specific word. You can correct me later. Kind of,
Okay.
I guess, salivate over things. Always wanting something new, like
Yeah.
a new experience,
Mhm.
because, again, you just get used to this stuff. You know.
That's a great way to segue into the topic of this podcast, which is this week we're going to learn how to break out of those annoying features. So you're going to learn how to break away from how to get used to stuff, realizing that you get used to stuff, how to use like not to use better intuition, but how to kind of like reframe your mind to look at things and say, hey, just because I think this is going to bring me happiness, it may not,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also readjusting our social reference points. So basically going based off the base, investing in experiences is really kind of key into kind of like switching things first off.
Big
right?
time. I went go-karting for the first time last week. I've never
Nice.
been go-karting.
Never. Wow.
And it was an experience that I'll always remember. And I am big on, well, at least now, I was into materialistic things at first. Buying shoes, and then what happens? They stack up, you have the shoe boxes, never wear them.
They even
Okay.
degrade over time.
Yeah, that's a whole. Yeah, they like turn yellow, everything, and it's whatever. I wanted to buy shirts like like Supreme or whatever. You throw it in the washer, it shrinks, and it's
Yep.
done.
Yep.
But it's investing in experiences that I feel is better. So I did go karting,
Yeah.
and I realized I sucked. The first lap, I felt so embarrassed. I kept hitting the side of the wall. And then guess what? That made me want to say, okay, I want to try to get better. So I did another lap and I got better, and it was so much fun. That was an experience I'll always remember. And it was a lot of work. I was saying, I don't think I'm going to do this again. Leave this to the pros. But it was an experience. I didn't take, and it's weird because I didn't take any pictures, videos. It's just, I just lived in the moment. And that felt really great. You know what I mean? So I think it's about creating those experiences.
Damn, so the second lap around, did you make it? You like got
yeah. I was drifting everything.
Ooh.
I was drifting, slightly on the brake and everything, and then I was in like second place, and then somebody bumped someone on the course, and they like slowed down your carts. They control it, like
really?
through a panel or something like that. They could slow it down.
I knew it was rigged.
It is rigged,
It's
and I was
messed
in
up.
second place. And then they like turned up the speed, so it was a very great experience.
Nice.
You know.
I think for myself, I can attest to definitely clothes, electronics, like video games. Not to say these are bad things, but I was very like into just getting stuff, material stuff, and then once I'd use it once or twice, it's like bloop, done.
But RJ, video games isn't that bad. You know
when
why?
you buy it when it first drops for like $80, you could wait, bro.
I'm sorry. Look,
you could wait.
Just 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Let me explain why. It's good because you do create an experience with games, especially if it has a beginning and an end, right?
Okay.
We spoke about concerts, I think, at the last time, right? You're creating an experience. Beginning of the concert, end of the concert, done. Games, there's so many games, like it brings nostalgia because I bought the game. It's a single player game. And you play from the beginning to the end, and wow, that was an experience. So for that, it's materialistic, but you can create an experience out of that. I don't know.
Because I could put the t-shirt on. Wear it a couple times, and it's like, that's an experience for me, isn't it? But is it something that like...
Camila's saying no in the back.
Look, if you're not on the podcast, you don't get to have an opinion.
But then then you put on a shirt, you look in the mirror, right?
No, it's an experience for sure.
But that's like 10 seconds.
So what you look for is something, okay, if I put on the shirt's going to stay the same. It might shrink, it might fade. Okay, cool. If I play the video game, the game doesn't change at all. So that game, even though it's going to bring you the same amount of joy, go play it 50 times in a row and then ask me, does it bring you the same amount of joy? Because it might, but when you spread it out the way that we do, because I'm nostalgic, like, I don't know if there's any Spyro fans out there. I got Spyro remastered.
The dinosaur thing? The purple dinosaur?
It's a dragon, okay.
You might have to put a picture up there for
I'll drop a picture right here of Spyro.
Somewhere here.
But anyways, I haven't played that game. I haven't played those games because it's a trilogy remastered, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I haven't played that since I was like maybe like 15, 16 with my cousin. Going back and playing that game now, I'm like, wow, amazing. The graphics are horrible because they remastered it. It's so bad. I prefer the blocky old school PlayStation, but that's besides the point. The main thing is saying, like, because I waited all this time to go back and play that game, I'm like, oh my God, this is so much more fun. This is exciting. Now, if you said, hey, Ryle, play this game, or damn, RJ. Hey, RJ, play this game over and over again, like repeatedly.
Yeah.
Play it again. Play this game so many times that you're going to just live it and breathe it and know every little nook and cranny of that. Okay, it might be exciting the first 25 times, but after that, you're like, I'm bored of it. So when we talk about like investing in experiences, it's more so investing in experiences that'll, let's say, it'll be different every time. That's only if you get, like, if you're getting bored of life, if you're playing the same game over and over and you're so excited and you're so happy, that's fine. But if you're playing the game and you're like, you know what, I want to do something different with life. All right, buy a different game or go invest in something else.
Exactly. That's where I agree, because I don't think we're saying you invest in you invest in games to create an experience and you play it over and over and over again. Well, what you can say is invest in experiences by buying different games over time. So I bought Spyro, I played it, create experience, happiness. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Then get a new game, right. That's kind of what I talked about, kind of creating new experiences each time. So I realized I'm not going to do go-karting again. That was too much work.
Yeah.
Too much work for me. So now, guess what? Now I'm planning for another week. Me and my girl, let's go to the iFly in
Okay,
Davie.
those are
Like,
fun.
right? And
Skydiving
then, guess what?
indoors.
Maybe I'll love it. And then I say, I want to do this again. And then I do it again. And then I'm like, okay, on to the next thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I get it.
I want to play the same game. Listen, if you're playing Spyro 100 times and you really love it, power to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just can't. I know exactly what you mean. The
Yeah.
graphics aren't the same. At that time, it seemed like it was cool, but maybe you just buy another game and create an experience.
And it's all just about reinventing yourself and saying like, hey, like I'm bored. I feel like I'm in this loop of doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to try and experience something different. A gamer who's been playing video games their whole life, you may get bored. You may get tired. You may be like, all these games are the same. They're
Mm-hmm.
always ending the same way. The storyline's the same. You already know how it's going to end before. So this is mainly for people who feel like they're in that cycle of like repetition, doing it over and over. I got like that with movies. I don't know, but like sometimes it takes a lot for a movie or a TV series to actually get me entertained because I feel like I already know the plot or the storyline or how
Right.
it's gonna go. So those are little bit ways that you can reframe your mind. Like we talked about concerts. Okay, I won't go to the club every weekend, but I will go to a festival once a year. A music
Yeah.
festival it's always a different experience, so it's always new DJs. That's amazing, and it's only like maybe one day or a couple of days, but man, is it a once in a lifetime type of thing, you know? Going to the club, you can always go to the club. Same bartenders, same DJ for the most part, and for the most part as well, same people, you know, always going to the same areas over and over. It's fun, it's an experience if you haven't. But we're talking about people who feel like they're just stuck in a loop and they're bored, you know?
Yeah. So I guess the main idea here is these people that are stuck in a loop and they want to get out.
Yeah.
Create experiences.
Invest in experiences, guys.
Yes.
Because if you go and you buy stuff and you think, oh man, me buying this new fancy laptop's going to make me happy. It will make you happy. It will make it a little bit more exciting. But that's it. You could have bought the cheaper laptop and go on a trip somewhere.
So you should be on the constant grind of trying to look for the next experience, is what you're saying.
I think so.
You know,
You can look forward to something.
You could look forward to something. Exactly. Plan some trips here, there. You know, try something new, something that you haven't done before.
Yeah.
For all we know, Camila could be a great trumpet player.
She should
She
try.
doesn't know, but she hasn't
should
tried
try.
it. You know, you could be good at parkour.
I have tried and I am not.
No. Okay.
am not.
I don't know. Skateboarding.
I think you could be good at ice skating.
Ice skating.
Yeah, I could see you on some ice skates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do they get paid?
I don't know, but I think a
Oh,
good
that's so
amount.
wrong. The money doesn't matter.
Consumerism, communism, everything, guys.
I kind of want to go back. I think we covered. I think we covered this one well. The other one,
We invest in experiences.
right?
Okay.
But for reference points, my question is, how do you change your reference points, or is that something you can change, right? Do you keep that same reference point?
Okay, so in the course, in this happiness course, Dr. Santos, she brings up like a couple of tips about how to break out of like these annoying features and like the ways that our minds automatically kind of default settings go to.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your reference points, social reference points, you can go ahead and like probably say like, okay, so if I'm on social media and I'm looking at all these people and I'm like, okay, I'm looking at them and I'm like, wow, I should have their life, or I should be like this. That's a red flag right there.
Yeah.
You're using social media as a reference point. You should, if you're using reference points, they should be around people that are, like we said earlier, in your bracket. If not, use yourself as a reference point. So let's say you're making money right now and you're making a certain amount and you're like, man, I'm not making enough. You want to make more, but at the same time, you kind of got to take a step back and remind yourself, who was Diondre and what was he making 10 years ago, compared to what he's making now, so that's
Broke.
broke boy. But yeah, that's a good way to remind yourself and say, hey man, 10 years ago I was broke and I wasn't making money. Now I'm making way more than I was. So if you were to say, hey, now my next reference point, is that going to be Bill Gates? Okay, well, maybe you're making some money right now. To go from some money to Bill Gates, that's a big gap. So come back and say, you know what? Who's the guy above you, at your job? How much does he make? What's his position like? Maybe go around on job searches and look on Indeed and say, hey, what other jobs are there that can at least say you're in that field and say like, oh, I can probably apply for this. Is it more money? Is it less money? That's the only way that I think that you can slowly like readjust and readjust and readjust. What are your thoughts?
So I bought it back up because I think it's hard for people to readjust, right? Especially when it's just yourself. You have to. I think you kind of have to have someone else tell you, because, I mean, again, like I said, there's some people out there. Oh my God.
Oh no.
There's some people out there that say, I want to be like this person, or this is my reference point, and no one's going to tell me anything. This is what I want to be. And sometimes it's hard for people to realize these things. I think you kind of need like a outside force or some other person to kind of tell you, hey, like, you need to look back and say, this isn't you. And that's and same thing where you said with social media. People look on social media saying they want to be like this person. We're telling them how to break out of it. But I think they kind of need, I don't know, like some other driving force too, because it's hard for people to just break out on their own. You know what I mean? Like,
how would they break out? How would you tell them to break out? I mean, delete social media. Yeah, you could do that. Delete Instagram. Delete YouTube. But subscribe to us first.
Yeah, and maybe, okay, this is probably a good solution. Maybe do it with a friend, someone else. You know what I mean? Because
a battle buddy is needed.
Buddy. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, doing it on your own, sometimes the ego and like not knowing other people's perspective, like there's so many people that may be full of themselves, have a bad attitude, right? But they don't know it. They're like, I'm a great person, I don't have a bad attitude. It's not until you hear someone else say it. My girlfriend told me I need to cut my nails. Camilla told me to cut my nails. Ooh. I'm like, man, that's another person telling me. So guess what? I cut my damn nails. Sometimes you need another person to tell you some things. So that's where I'm like, maybe, sure, we're telling you guys what to do, but I think for extra padding, you have an extra person do it with you, kind of like a battle buddy, like you said.
And if you're looking to reset your reference points, use the battle buddy, change some things in life, and then you yourself is the best reference point sometimes. Like, use yourself, whether it was 10 years ago, use yourself last month. Were you doing something different? Try something different and then compare that in a month. Because I know we said social reference points, but like, if you're going to start with it, use yourself as the best reference point and then look outside of yourself. Look at those around you. Use that as inspiration. You can use that as even accountability, like the battle buddy. If you're somebody who, let's say you're trying to get into the gym and work out, because I always love talking about using the gym as a good example. If you're gonna say, hey, I don't work out, oh, blah blah blah, like you're really kind of pooping on yourself and bringing yourself down. Well, maybe before you used to work out and you kind of are using your high school body as a reference point. But let's stop and say, what about maybe last year? Maybe last year you didn't work out as much, and now this year you're able to get 1 or 2 sessions in. That's amazing, And then you look at your friends who work out maybe 3 times a week. Okay, use them as a reference point. Don't look at the personal trainer and say, like, why don't I look like that? I should be just as big, That's not the case. So it's hard. It's really hard, but it's just start with yourself and then move outward. In my mind, that's how I would work it.
Especially you're scrolling through those photos, you see the
you
ones
don't know
from like
them. They don't know you. They don't care.
Yeah. Or your own photos. Your own 2019. Photos. Wow, I was way slimmer. Things like that.
That guy was living a different life.
Yeah, because things change in life too. You have to be realistic there. At that time, no kid. Had a less demanding job. Things were different. So you can't really compare. You can't go back and say, man, why am I not like this? Things were different.
So reset your social points is or reference points is a big one. The next one is savoring. So are you familiar with the idea of savoring?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of touched on it earlier, right? So even with experiences, create, I guess.
The in the moment, right?
In the moment, well, no. It was more like when you're creating experience, maybe you're going to, I don't know, Hawaii at the end of the year, right? You're kind of savoring that experience, so it makes it more, I guess more impactful to your happiness?
Well, I guess if you're thinking, is it like something you're looking forward to, or like when
Something-
you're actually in it?
Something you're looking forward to.
Okay, so that's a good one. Savoring would be like when you mentioned being in the moment earlier. So like this cup of water that I have, if I'm gonna take a drink of it, I get to really be like, wow, it sounds corny, but you're like kind of reminding yourself like, I'm having some good water, like some good H2O. I'm feeling hydrated right now. It's amazing. We could just sit here for the next 5 minutes after we finish, and we could just sit.
Yeah.
Just be in the moment, appreciate the breeze, listen to the trees kind of like move and all that stuff, listen to the airplanes that are always
Yeah.
going by. But that is savoring and kind of like bringing yourself back into this present moment, kind of like not going through the motions. Like, when you drive home and you're just autopilot.
Yeah.
Instead of actually like, what's around you? Like maybe the person in the car has a funny face next to you. Maybe
Right.
this car is really nice. Maybe they changed something that you just noticed, but being in not on was it like Autobot mode?
Yeah.
Not Autobots like Transformers, but like kind of like being in the auto mode, or like
So taking advantage of the experiences in the moment.
correct.
Because sometimes when you think too much about what will happen tomorrow or the next day, that can really stress you out. So really just take some time to savor, enjoy this current moment.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
remind yourself that this is a good moment, like every time you go to Chipotle and you go there and you order the food, it's like, man, I get to eat Chipotle today.
I don't like Chipotle anymore.
No, man, we lost our sponsorship, guys. Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
Our sponsorship's back, Chipotle.
Yay.
So, but I think that's a good way to remind yourself, like, you're in this moment, you're amazing, you get to leave here and go sit in your nice car, your new car, even though you're already happy about it. Maybe in 6 months when you're like, this car is just the same old car it's been the last 6 months, but you'll be like, nah, this is the car that I always wanted, man.
Yeah.
That's a good way to remind
So
ourselves.
maybe I kind of, sit in the car. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah.
Airplane almost crashed on us.
Yeah. That would have been a bad moment. But anyway,
Yeah.
we maybe I just kind of sit in the car, turn it on, and just not drive off suddenly. Just kind of
Correct.
sit there and look at I like looking at the instrument cluster and all
Yeah.
the things,
Touch it, play with it, look at it, read your
Oh.
manual. Hey, yo. But that's a big one, that's a really big part, because we have so much in our lives that we could get very used to. And remember, that's one of the annoying features is you're gonna get
Exactly.
used to it. But to remind yourself, like, hey, I can't get used to this stuff. All right, cool. Let me go, and maybe you'll take your car to the racetrack. Take it to the racetrack for the one time and speed off and show, like, okay, why'd you get this car? Remind yourself, Toretto.
Yeah,
It's all
well,
about family.
I'll probably go on a back road.
That's fine.
Because if I take it to the track, there's going to be a whole bunch of tryhards with their faster cars. They'll beat me, and then I won't be happy. So
It was an experience, though.
It was an experience to lose. No, but then that'll create more experience. Because
Yeah.
now I want my car to be faster. And then, maybe I get all the tools and, all the
Start.
parts, and that creates an experience.
Pimp it out, bro.
Yeah.
Pimp it out. What's the next tip? So we could tell our viewers. That's on you. Bam. Go.
Can I get a hint?
It can be. Damn, what's a good hint for this? The good hint is me giving you enough time to look down at your phone to see what the next tip is.
Because you don't.
I know what it is. I just couldn't think of a way to say give thanks. Give thanks. That's a good tip.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. That was some time ago.
So it's just give thanks.
Yeah, give thanks.
To who? Yourself? Other
To
people?
the universe, whoever you want to call it. Giving thanks and showing gratitude.
Yeah. I think that I would say thanks to my family and friends. And in this life, we get so busy sometimes that we kind of don't even have time to thank them, or even
Thank your people.
Yeah, or be very appreciative. Even our friends that are watching on YouTube, they're listening on Spotify. I have RJ, Camilla making fun of my nails and things like that. Like, these are experiences that you love.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets overshadowed with the crazy life that you have,
Yep.
your boss barking at you, going into that 9 to 5, you didn't have your Starbucks coffee, and it's just so hectic. It takes up so much time in your life, and then you just go home tired, but you don't have time to even be thankful for your family and friends. So again, just living in the moment, creating those experiences, and thanking the people that you love.
And it reminds yourself that you have so much around you. Like, look,
Yeah.
I got one phone, he has another phone, and there's a phone being used to record this right now, and microphones. Like,
Yeah.
this all came from somewhere, but like to remind yourself that like, hey, this is a part of like your life. Like, these are good things that you have. Like, even if you're watching this right now on a phone or listening to it, you're able to listen to it, you're able to watch it, you're able to be currently here,
Yeah.
that you're alive, you know. And some people like to like the negative Nancy's. We've talked about those before. It's easy to fall into that like this mindset of lack. Oh, I lack this. Oh, I don't have this. Oh, if only I had that, I would be this way. And it's kind of like, what do you have? What do you have that you can be grateful for right here, right now? And if you can't list at least two things, then you're just your brain default is literally saying, I'm pessimistic. You know?
Yeah.
And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but you have to, not that you have to, if you want to learn how to break out of it, try to be grateful. Try to show gratitude.
Yeah, and it can always be worse, right? There's someone else out there who has it worse than you.
I hear that that's not a good way to judge things.
Yeah,
Like,
like
it could
it's
be worse. No, I have problems, Diondre. I don't care about that person who has worse problems than me.
yeah, you do have problems, but yeah, cut.
It's true though.
Yeah.
But it's to say like it doesn't. I don't want you to minimize your problems.
No, that's not what it is. Not saying okay, minimize. Okay, telling someone, you're going through it. It could be worse. Well, that's what I said.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you broke your leg? Well, at least you know there's somebody out there who could have two broken legs. And it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away the pain of what I have right now. So,
But
how can you work around that?
well, okay, in that sense, well, it's like if someone breaks their leg, I wouldn't say like, hey man, it could be worse. Like not
Could've
saying
broke two.
not saying like that exactly to that person.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, you kind of have to say it. I wouldn't tell someone that, but you know what I mean?
Because then, it sounds messed up because then you're going to look down on people and be like, oh, they have it worse, so they must be worse off. Somebody could have it worse than you and actually be happier. So don't look at somebody who's having it worse and be like, oh, yeah, their life must... Hey, man, that person who's blind and has two broken legs, they could be amazing.
Well, more
life.
of it could be worse, and I'm thankful for what I have. So, for example,
Maybe just saying I'm thankful.
I'm thankful. Yeah,
I'm just
because
thankful.
maybe you get in a car accident, you survive. Oh man, this is going to the deep
Just
end.
keep it rolling.
No, you get in an accident. You're okay. You didn't break any bones in your body. I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
So
thankful.
even though it's saying it, it could have been worse. I guess I see what you're saying. Just say I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, if you're going to say like, oh, it could have been worse, it could have been this, like, yeah, you are right. But then you got to combat it with, it could also be better. It can get better,
Yeah.
And there's just a little bit that we kind of like have to remind ourselves like, hey, come back and be grateful. Hey, come back and live in the moment. Hey, come back and don't compare yourself to everybody else. Use yourself as a reference point. You know?
Yeah.
I think that whenever we start to dive down that rabbit hole, like negative visualization is one of them, and saying like, okay, like, well, you know what, this ended up not working out, and it's worse, but hey, maybe it could be worser, if that's a word. I don't think so, but like you said, it could be. At least you're alive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, let's say like how different your life could be though. Like your life, let's say you're a dad right now. Maybe you didn't have your baby, maybe you ended up choosing a different lifestyle. Maybe you just ended up, being miserable and unhappy. But look at that, you're not,
Right.
You're here, you have a healthy baby, you have a happy family, you have a job that pays you.
I can't imagine that because that's not where I'm at. You know what I mean? So
And maybe like for the pessimistic people, it's like, man, you're so pessimistic. Like, how about you put yourself in an even worse situation than what you're in now? Is that possible?
I don't think so. I mean,
Well, for a pessimistic person,
for a
it'd probably be like-
pessimistic, yeah, if they're pessimistic, then yeah. Especially someone that's a like should've, could've, would've. You know, yeah, a should've, could've, would've person. You know those
Should-
people?
yeah.
Like, I should have done this, could have done that. I would have done this. You know, that's usually the pessimistic person.
it's in a way where it gives you an opportunity to play like imagination, but like play imagination when you realize like, hey, like my life could have been so different. You
Yeah,
know?
but I don't like playing the
No,
mag-
no.
Yeah, well, I don't.
These are
of
just
course.
tips.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some
I'm
people like to go down that rabbit hole and say
and
like, wow.
and I would tell them not to do that.
Okay,
you
so
know?
for me, for example, my mom moved me down, me and her down when I was 10 years old from New York to Florida. Sometimes, like, not to say, like, I'll think about it, but, like, yeah, I think about, like, wow, how different would my life have been if I would have stayed in New York with my mom, you know?
Right.
Granted, we had family and support there, but at the same time, like, the lifestyle, like, not that it's bad, but she just wanted to give me a different chance, And I
Yeah.
have asthma, shout out asthma people, but moving from a cold weather to like one where it's like more humid, which isn't great, but at least it's not always cold, it's more dry,
Yeah.
it's hotter. Okay, great. That's an opportunity that she gave me, but sometimes I do go back and man, like, wow, my life could have been so different if I would have stood in New York. Maybe I would have been delinquent.
But it's not
I
enough.
kind of am, but I'm really not.
But it's not enough for you to say like, oh, like this move ruined my life. I should
Well, you
have
should
stayed
use
there.
it in a positive manner.
Correct.
Like this move, like my life could have been somewhere completely different. Better or worse, I don't know. But right here, right now, is where I'm like, oh, I got moved down. Okay, that's amazing. I had this experience. I had that experience. Like, there's a lot of memories that I had in Florida that I would never want to give up. If you were
Yeah.
like, hey, you're going to move to New York and you have to figure it out. You don't know if you're going to have good or bad experiences. Not to be dramatic, but like in the subway system and bus system over there, there's a lot of criminals, bro. Like, stuff just goes down that it's like, hey, if you're a single mom and you have a kid, would you want your kid around that? Not really,
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
to say that it doesn't happen, but it's just like, hey, let's try something different.
When did you move down here, RJ?
When I was like 10,
10?
yeah,
You didn't have Tim's at that time.
I always had Tim's.
Yeah.
Always,
So
man,
what
you
they
stand
give
on business.
they give Tim's at the age of like 5?
You get Tim's out the womb. Your mom wears Tim's as she's giving birth.
God.
But seriously, like, it's a good way to just remind yourself, like, the things that you experience, like, you get to hold on to that. Because if I would have said, hey, you know what? Let's say you didn't go to the college you went to. Let's say you went out of state. You have none of those memories that you made from 18 up until now. You moved out of state
Yeah.
and you had a different lifestyle. Could have been worse,
Yeah, and maybe I stayed in that state and
Didn't have a network. Maybe it just would have been like more like, just maybe it could have been better though. It could have,
It could have.
You'll never know. But
You'll never know.
if you're trying to be grateful for this moment right now, ask yourself, how different could have life been if you would have, what's something major that happened in your life that you're like, wow, if that would have flipped, life could have been so different.
Wow.
Making him reflect here.
I think so. My sister, she went out of. She didn't go out of state. She went to Bethune-Cookman, so that's in Daytona,
Okay.
really far. I think that really helped her out, and I'm kind of shouting her out. She's not timid, but like not to herself. I can't really find the words to say it. She grew up a certain way, and being away from the parents really shaped her to who she is today.
Okay.
I didn't have the luxury of that. I stayed home, went to FAU,
Go
and
Owls.
I do think about what it would have been like if I went like out of state or somewhere else. But I think that it was a good decision for me to stay. I
Okay.
would have never met some of the friends that I did. I probably wouldn't have been as focused. I probably would have failed my classes, and now I'm doing my master's. So maybe if I was that far away, maybe I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today.
Yeah.
And it's weird because a lot of people want to go away to build that experience in that network.
Yep.
But I don't think I really needed it as much as my sister. I think she needed it more than I did. And staying home and having all the support, you know, I think really made me who I am today. So I'm grateful for it. But just thinking about me going out of state, again, like we said, we don't know if it could have been better, it could have been worse, but I'm thankful for staying home, saved some money.
Yep.
I was still around people that were supportive of me.
Yep. Maybe you would have never met your girl and had your baby if you would have been out of state.
That's true.
Just out of county.
Out of county, out of state, yeah. That probably would have never happened, so.
Life would have been different, man.
Exactly.
We
would have never met, you know, because I would have been out of state.
True, yeah. We would have never met, and our lives could be so different, so. To show gratitude, I appreciate you and you not moving out of state, because negatively visualizing, life would have been so bad without you.
I foresaw it. I could see the future. When I was applying, well, no, honestly, only 2 schools accepted me anyway. FIU said no, and FAU said yes.
Oh, man.
So I wasn't that person that had like 50 schools to choose from. So,
dude, I chose 2 schools, one in Florida and one out of state. And then my mom was like, you know, out of state means out of state tuition. I was like, oh, in state, baby, let's go.
So, yeah, I kind of had no choice. So shout out to FAU for keeping me here.
Owls on deck. Hoot hoot.
It's actually like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Owls on deck.
And he went there. He doesn't know what.
I went to one homecoming and I think one football game where I stood outside the stadium. So, yeah.
Why?
We were tailgating. I'm not a big sports fan, like I said.
That's not being thankful for the team.
No, but I did savor. I did savor the tailgate. And you know, these experiences really shape who we are as people.
Yeah.
So that's a great reminder, because the more you experience in life, the more your personality grows, the more your mind is going to develop, and the more your character is beginning to kind of like define itself in a way.
Yeah.
When we go through these motions where like, oh, we see on TV like, hey, we think the fast car, the fast life, all the money, getting all the girls and all this stuff, whatever you see that and you think that that's the life to live, you know, sometimes you have to take a step back and really remind yourself it's not it. It's not what it's supposed to be. The what life is supposed to be is experiences, you know, going to college, meeting friends, finding love, losing love, you know, creating a job, you know, maybe even hating a job.
But those experiences that you mentioned, the things that you mentioned before, those are experiences too, but they just might not be the right ones.
Yeah, and they might not be the right ones
at the time, right? Because you said, oh, chasing girls, getting fast cars.
Yeah, no.
Those are experiences, but it may not be the right experience.
It's reminding you to look at what's more important in life, you know, because some people could say, hey, I love fast cars, I love women, I love that. Okay, great, amazing. You know, if you can find meaning and absolute joy out of it, great. But then you have those people who have done that and they say that there still is no joy there, you know. It makes you think like, okay, why is a rich person saying that money doesn't bring you happiness? And I'm not saying that the poor person is like, oh yeah, money doesn't bring me happiness, but at the same time you kind of realize that both people could have a lot of money or no money and still be miserable, still be unhappy. So with your experiences in life, like, what is one experience that you can say has shaped you, or like maybe given you like a little bit of a different way of thinking in life?
Having a child.
Oh, that's a big experience.
Yeah, I mean, now it's like it's tough, not tough, but it's weird to say, but I of course I live for myself, but I have a different purpose now. I'm like, man, I want to be rich, I want to have all this money, but now I don't care about that. I want her to be rich.
That's, you know, real like, love.
I'm not kidding.
Generational wealth, Diondre.
Yeah, so now it's kind of like things that I wanted for myself. I don't care. I haven't even bought like new clothes aside from like, you know, for my job or anything. I want her to get everything. Spoil her. 'Cause this life is tough, RJ.
You're telling me.
Things are going to go up. The world's going to go crazy. So I just want to make sure she's prepared. So that was definitely a life-changing and it's a crazy experience. Even like, being at the hospital, cutting the umbilical cord,
Yeah.
holding her. It's like, man, like, think about this for a second. Camila, you too. RJ, think about this.
I'm thinking.
You guys have always taken care of yourselves, and sometimes that's hard to do, to take care of yourself. So now I got to take care of another human being. And it's so tough to just take care of yourself. Now I have to take care of another human being. Waking up at 3 a.m., she's crying. What are you going to do? I need sleep. It's not you.
Mm-hmm.
She needs comfort. She's hungry. I don't feel like making the bottle. What?
Who's gonna make it?
Who's going to make it? Right? She wants attention. I'm playing the game. She comes up to me. She likes to read the book Baloo and Mowgli.
Oh, Baloo.
Baloo. It's Baloo?
Baloo, yeah.
Oh, man, I've been reading it wrong, sir. I said Baloo. It's
Baloo.
Baloo.
The Jungle Book, right?
Yes, it's Baloo.
Baloo, yeah.
Man, I've been saying Baloo. But Mowgli Baloo. And she just puts it in my hand. And I'm like, man, I want to play this game.
Puts
but I
the
got
controller
no
in her
choice.
hand.
Yeah. She broke the TV. Like,
Oh, man.
you're not, now you're taking care of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So the life purpose kind of changes. I want to get rich. I want to have nice things. I want to do this. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's about her getting everything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Where's the water at?
So having a baby is pretty big and something that not everybody can experience. That'll change their mind. On a little smaller scale, I would say personally.
No, it's not smaller.
No, well, for me, let's just minimize taking care of a whole other human. Instead of taking care of a whole other human, change your experience and the way that you look at the world by traveling. A big one for me has been being able to get out in the world and see different environments. Going from New York to Florida was already like a big, I don't want to say culture shock because it's still a melting pot down here, but going from like a city life to now like not suburbs, but like more like kind of like a suburbs, like, hey, there's not like apartments on top of apartments, not like in Miami, we're in Fort Lauderdale area, so it's not that bad. But from city life where there's no beaches nearby, there's no real greenery, you have parks every now and then, but to out here in the swamplands, it's like, whoa. But then take that a step further, I've been to Colorado, the Midwest. Oh man, is it dry and very barren out there. It's so brown. I mean, I think where did you go that you said that you were flying over and you're like, man, there's nothing out here? Was it Washington or?
That was Walla Walla, Washington. If you guys, if you have time, look that up. But I don't want to say too much because I'm on the cam.
Yeah.
But it was Walla Walla, Washington.
Okay.
A very small town.
Yeah.
I saw mountains for the first time.
Okay.
I
It's an experience, right?
It was an experience, and I won't say too much. Just look up Walla Walla, 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 Washington.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did it make you appreciate and value your current position right now a little bit like more, like being in Florida, perhaps?
Of course. Listen.
We love Washington people, by the way.
We'll talk off cam.
Oh,
but
no.
Walla Walla was definitely an experience. It was, I went to Philly like maybe 2 weeks before, and that was different. Philly, it looked depressing.
Okay.
It was gray, but it was still, I had a Philly cheesesteak. It was still, cool to be there.
Yeah.
But Walla Walla.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
You didn't have no good food out there?
Hey, Walla Walla.
So, in essence, guys, go out and travel and see the world because it will make you appreciate
but
where
not
you're
everywhere though. Because
you might go somewhere and try somewhere different, and it might say, hey, you might experience a better place, and you're like, hey, I want to go there now more often. But you went to Walla Walla, you don't want to go back.
We might have viewers from Walla Walla, Washington. I didn't say anything bad.
Comment.
I just said it was an experience.
If you're from Washington or know about Walla
No,
Walla,
no.
Washington, please comment so we know, right? Like,
Yeah.
I need somebody from the source. I don't want to believe you.
Yeah,
What if
don't
it's
believe me.
From Walla Walla. I never moved to Florida.
Well,
That's not what they told me. But then again, listen. We'll talk. Yeah.
all right.
But
Well, it seems like we learned to appreciate our life a lot, not only from resetting reference points, but also showing gratitude, savoring, sometimes even putting yourself in a different position, like just thinking about how your life could be so different to remind yourself like where you're at now. And if it's beneficial or how you could even change it. You know, sometimes maybe you are in a bad position. What are you going to do about it?
change it.
Exactly. But if you're going to sit here and just cry about, oh, it's a bad position, oh, I don't like where I'm at, well, reset your reference points. Where do you want to be and how will you get there, right?
Yeah, I think I like the Nike quote, just do it, right? But sometimes, of course, cliche, but
it works.
but it works, and
It does.
and it's the truth. People are upset at where they are. Well, just move, try to figure things out. But you keep going in that cycle of being unhappy at a place you're at. You know, you're not liking what, I don't know, maybe your fitness goals. Just start. You want to create that channel, just start, you know.
Maybe we can just replace the do it part and just put just and a blank. Just blank. Just start the podcast. Just go to a gym. Just read the book. Just go to Walla Walla.
Just get the Chipotle.
Just get
Yeah,
the
yeah, don't
Chipotle sponsor.
Not Walla Walla.
Not Walla Walla.
Listen, all I'll say is you don't want to go there.
All right, well, we need something positive and upbeat
Yeah.
to end this on. So what would you like to leave your viewers with, Diondre?
You know, this episode is all about happiness. And just for someone like myself that has been on that roller coaster, I can say that the most important thing is to create experiences. Try to stay away from those materialistic things. Always look for something new and fresh to keep those experiences going, and be thankful for what you have. So if you're watching this now, I suggest right after you take just 1 minute, 2 minutes, hug and kiss a loved one, family member, or your pet, your cat, or walk around your house wherever you are and just say thank you. It could even be anything. I don't know. Just be thankful. Go out, look at the sky. Don't look at the sun because you'll mess up your eyesight. But go, like, you know, say thanks to the clouds.
Be
Say thanks
appreciative.
say thanks to a bird. Say thanks to a bee. You better, because they pollinate everything. They're important and
They save the planet.
they save the planet. But don't say thanks for too long, or else you'll get stung. But even if you do get stung, still say thank you, because it's bad if they sting you. But I'm going off on a tangent. Just be thankful.
And remember, be lives matter too.
Yes.
Buzz buzz. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was another beautiful episode of our COURSERA course that we're taking right now. It is for free. It's provided by Professor Dr. Laurie Santos. We will link everything down below. You know, it's amazing. It's free. It teaches you. It's called The Science of Well-Being. It teaches you on how to attack life and everything that we've been talking in this episode. In the last couple of episodes, go watch it if you want to get some more information. But this is stuff that really helps you reframe your life and your mindset and gives us at least a different chance, because you know what? It feels like we're in this battle uphill and all I need is a little help, or give me a better weapon so I can start swinging a little bit better.
Hey, that was good.
Yeah, maybe. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and please remember to subscribe and support, because we need to monetize.
Yes.
Monetize. But it's not all about money, right?
No, it's not.
But a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay,
The
we all
support
need to
goes
get
a
paid.
long way.
Thank you again, guys, and
All right,
until
guys.
next time.
Peace.
Deuce.